Welcome back, ballers, to what is it, episode infinity at this point when it comes to the love themes. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a pre recorded video just because it's so late in the early morning. Oxymoron there. About 1:30 a.m. Central Time, to where originally I thought about doing a live stream, but it is early morning of Sunday or late Saturday. I'm sure people are out enjoying themselves. So I thought I would take the time to carve out a quick presentation to further add on to, once again, the love themes. If you guys are getting sick of the love themes, might as well unsubscribe now. But as always, I appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes and loves the content that I bring to the table. I feel that this love theme is something that nobody's talking about, if I'm being honest. I mean, besides KODI and or Rambo, we've been talking about that quite a bit on our Tuesday live streams. But outside of that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of people in the decoding community that are just talking about this ongoing theme of love. And tonight or last night, Saturday night, June 7th, 2025, was yet another example of the love themes coming into play. And what I have prepared for you guys is to really show you guys the screenshots and the notes that I shared with my Winnable and Patreon pages. For those that are into sports betting, once again, as a disclaimer, this is not a means to promote sports betting. We all have our own discernment and our own decisions to make when it comes to that. But what I'm about to share with you guys today is essentially the notes that I found when I looked into the world of UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship, if you will. I'll be the first to say I am not that savvy when it comes to UFC. I very rarely look into the world of MMA, mixed martial arts. When it comes to boxing, wrestling, shout out to KODI. KODI's phenomenal when it comes to the world of wrestling. But since it's kind of the slow season when it comes to sports, there's really only baseball going on. Sure, there's tennis, there's WNBA, but NFL's right around the corner. NBA only has one series left, so does the NHL. So I took a minute to just look at UFC 316, which was last night, once again, June 7th, 2025. And sure enough, I looked at the main event. I didn't see much there. But the very next matchup I saw was with a fighter by the name of Patchy Mix. And right above his name was, in quotes, "no love." If you guys can see right here. I'm going to go full screen. So "no love" right here up at the top. And originally I was kind of like, what is that? I don't even know what that means. Only to find out that that is his nickname, essentially. So his whole theme is about no love, right? My whole theme is about love. So immediately I lean into a riddle, a theme, a ritual, whatever you want to call it, like this. Of course, the moment I look at his record, he's got that 201 record. And there's a lot to be said about the 201, for sure. But sure enough, all I did was type in Patchy Mix no love, and it came out to 202 in the simplest cipher. So I was like, oh, okay. Patchy Mix no love can drop to 202 on 7/6, right? Just as a reminder for you guys, for those that don't know, in the majority of the world, June 7th is written 7/6, not 6/7. So just in ordinal and in Pythagorean, where you just break down every double-digit value into a single digit. I thought that was very interesting that he could drop to 202 on 7-6. Especially when you look at his opponent, Mario Bautista, which equals 202 when you run the alphabetic order in reverse. So that alignment right there was very peculiar to me. Not to mention, please make sure to go back and watch the Love You stream that I did with Decoding with KODI, where we specifically talked about 202 and the I Love You connection related to Adam Sandler and his stand-up special called Love You. So just to clarify, you guys, I figured out, okay, Patchy means Patrick. So his name is actually Patrick, which equals 666, by the way, in reverse Sumerian. But his nickname is No Love. So his whole thing is about not leaning into love, even though if you notice at the very bottom here, he has a heart right underneath his titty. So keeping it moving, let's talk about Mario. So to cut to the chase, I mean, I put out to the Patreon that I feel that at the very least Mario would go at least 3, if not 4 rounds. He was the underdog in this fight, but he ended up winning by decision in round 3. And the next step of this whole love theme was looking into Mario and starting with his name, Mario. Once again, go back to just my live stream with Decoding with KODI. Shout out to KODI for this information, because I would not be able to add this in there without it. But we talked a lot about Mars. Mario is an Italian form name or a Latin name for Marius, generally stemming from warlike or belonging to Mars, the Roman god of war. He even has 2 tattoos on his arms that says Battleborn, right? So I haven't looked too much into the history about why he has that on his arms, but I mean, to me, I think I got my question answered. Mario means Mars. Mars is the god of war, and he has Battleborn tattooed on his arms. And of course, I mean, we're talking about UFC. Anytime 2 fighters are in the ring, I mean, they are essentially at war, right? So keeping that in mind, the next thing I looked into, very high level, by the way, just a little backstory about Mario. He moved from Nevada. He's from Nevada, but he moved from Nevada to Arizona. I don't know exactly what year, but if you guys are not familiar with my work, go back and watch it. I've been on the love theme for a very long time, and I have been all over the connections with Arizona and love, because the state of Arizona was founded on Valentine's Day. So Mario moves to Arizona. That's where he currently lives and trains today, so they tell us. And the state is founded on Valentine's Day. And now he's playing against Mr. No Love, right? On top of that, this is another shout out to KODI and Rambo. We had a very extensive conversation about just in the base ciphers of gematria, love equals 54 front and back in the English ordinal and reverse ciphers, but it also equals 18. Okay. And coming up on last night's match, it just so happens to be Mario's 18th martial arts match, to further add to the love themes, right? Now, I know this slide is a little busy, but we'll go through it slowly and simply. So this was UFC 316. This was not the main event, by the way. I just want to clarify that. This was one of the sub-events leading up to the main event. But last night's fight was exactly 3 months and 24 days after Valentine's Day, which, like I just said, is the same date that Arizona was founded, which is where Mario Bautista currently lives, resides, and trains. Well, sure enough, in the reverse English cipher, love conquers all equals 214. Perfect. Bautista conquered the no love character in this particular ritual. And I also talked about 324 in my last stream, once again, with KODI, when it came to the death of Clay Thompson's dog, Rocco, because Rocco equals 324. And we literally named that stream Dog is Love, and how it's all connected to God, because dog is an anagram of God. So once again, we have that 324 that came right up once again with the Sumerian cipher. For those that are curious, all that is the alphabetic order times 6. A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, etc. You add it up, love, 324. So perfect. Now let's talk about it being UFC 316. I don't think I need to argue with most people, but when it comes to the world of religion and those that are very into the Bible, or even not very into the Bible, I think a lot of people are very familiar with the Bible verse, John 3:16. So we're talking about UFC 316, where Patchy Mix No Love is facing Mario, Mars, the god of war, on this date. And to read, for those of you guys that don't know, John 3:16 reads, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Next, I looked into the last name Bautista. Sure enough, it means Baptist, you guys. And it stems from the Spanish origin of Saint John the Baptist, who baptized Jesus in the Bible, right? Well, what going back once again to my live stream with KODI called Dog is Love, we started going down a whole topic of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And this was right before all the news broke out about this war and this loss of love between Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And I pointed out how Elon Musk just last year on October 6th, 2024, had a tweet that said, "Love is the answer." And that stems back to my very first video I ever did on YouTube. We're not going to get into that whole thing, but what I want to point out here, you guys, is when you think about John the Baptist, he was essentially the one that baptized Jesus in the Bible, and was also the one that paved the way for his prophecy, his journey spreading the word. Let's not forget that Donald Trump's middle name is John, okay? And he just so happened to show face at last night's fight, okay? How many other times has another president showed up to a UFC fight? Maybe it's happened. I don't know the answer to that. But whatever that answer is, I'm sure it's slim to none. I think there's a very calculated reason why he did show up for this event. And it probably has a lot to do with his connection to John the Baptist. Once again, even though the fight I'm talking about was not the main event, but that's besides the point. when we talk about Valentine's Day, once again, the founding date of Arizona, when you measure from Election Day last year, the date when the votes started coming in, at least officially, for Donald Trump's re-election, November 5th, remember the 5th of November, to last night's fight, exactly 214 days, you guys. That's how you write the date of Valentine's Day, February 14th. Every year, right? February 14th. That date never changes or never moves around on any given year. So in closing, you guys, I hope that this is another example and another opportunity for you guys all to live in love. Live in love, you guys. No matter how hard that is. I thoroughly feel in my heart that we are all living some sort of love story. And some are a lot more intense, a lot more dark than others. Some are a lot more bright and a lot happier than others. But regardless, I feel that the only way to further elevate and grow personally, spiritually, socially, etc., is leaning into love. Think about Pope Leo. He talked about, building bridges, and this is not me advocating for the Pope or the religious order and all of that. It's more about the themes that continue to thrive in the public world stage of sports, news, politics, science, etc., to live in love. I strongly encourage everybody to do that any way that they can, no matter how hard that may be. I struggle with those same obstacles as well. But one quote that I never really started thinking about was this quote, live in love. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of that before. But notice that the word live and the word love are literally one letter off from each other. I don't think that's by coincidence. I have other streams. Shout out to Sean Widow's son. I believe it was in the Love in Spades live stream I did with Sean, where we talked about Ohio. And then I brought it back in a live stream I did with Decoding with KODI and Rambo, talking about Ohio. Okay? And when you think about I, you think about the I, hence the new weekly podcast or live stream, whatever you want to call it, that I have with Rambo and KODI every Tuesday night, called I, like the I, to I, like I as an individual, like you as an individual. And then you think about O, which represents the zero, and how the zero means love in the world of tennis. I got to start looking more into tennis. But I do think it's interesting that the tennis player recently, Sinner, really, just overcame, how do you pronounce his name? Jovic? Neovic? Something like that. Just think about tennis and the zero or the O, which represents love. And now when we talk about the NBA Finals, you have the pacemakers, the Indiana pacemakers, that came back in another crazy Game 1 upset to defeat the Thunder, which have the Loves patch on their jersey, right? But going back to the topic at hand, I and O, it essentially means I love, right? I love. This isn't always about gematria, you guys. A lot of this has to do with wordplay and symbolism of the words and the letters that we are given. The same words and letters I'm using right now to communicate to those that are watching, which I sincerely appreciate. In closing, you guys think about the phrase, I owe you. And I owe you. I owe you in debt. I owe you in a favor, whatever it is. The way I look at it nowadays is it means I love you. But I think a lot of people would agree with me in saying that in true love, you don't need favors owed back to you, right? You do things out of the goodness of your heart without expectations of something in return. But I think that's, once again, part of this acronym, I guess you can call it. That's part of that play on words. And I owe you means I love you. And I love you all very, very much. Thank you all so much for the kind words and the support. It really means a lot. My journey has been very challenging, especially as of late, but it's also been very exciting. And it's been a big reminder of the love and the support that I have in my corner. And it really means a lot. So I'm going to end it there. And I look forward to the comments. In closing, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And please make sure to share the video where you see fit. I know that this is not for everybody, but all of your support and all of the kind words continues to remind me that I am going down the right direction and I have a lot of love in my corner. So, and I will always love and support each of you as well. You guys can find me on Instagram. I do my best to respond to all comments, all direct messages, etc. I'm here to help you guys as much as you help me. So, as always, love always, and we'll see you guys again soon. Until next time.